Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 horror movies people thought were real.
Muy buenas noches, les habla Ángela Vidal. Hoy en Mientras usted duerme, vamos a acompañar a una patrulla de bomberos.
For this list, we'll be looking at horror films that used marketing tactics or innovative filmmaking to convince audiences that fiction was, to some degree, actually fact, or at least based on a true story. Did any of these films fool you? Tell us about it in the comments. Number 10, Ghostwatch. Mockumentary or documentary? Viewers of this BBC show on Halloween night in 1992 had a lot of trouble telling the difference.
Tonight, television is going ghost hunting in an unprecedented scientific experiment where I hope to show you, for the first time, irrefutable proof that ghosts really do exist.
Set in a fictional London home, this pre-recorded television event portrayed itself as a live broadcast, with reporters and ghost hunters searching for evidence of a poltergeist named Mr. Pipes. He was supposedly terrorizing the Early family, making scary sounds in the house's plumbing, and periodically possessing one of the family's children.
Now, confrontations, of course, with the supernatural can be devastatingly real. Let's find out what effect they've had on Mrs. Early and her family.
The problem was that the presenters and actors rather convincingly portrayed the supernatural events of the broadcast as real life, terrifying and confusing audiences in the process. The BBC received around 30,000 complaints, and the frightening mockumentary never aired in the UK again.
No more calls, please. Also, our switchboard's jammed. We've been inundated with hoaxes.
The Rosenheim poltergeist effect is a telephone exchange. Rang up endless bills, misdirected calls.
Or no poltergeist.
They're seeing it now, for God's sake.
Number 9, the Poughkeepsie tapes. What would you do if you discovered 800 videotapes that turned out to be a serial killer's personal snuff films?
I had a tenant in this house here who was a very terrible person. This is the house where they found the Poughkeepsie tapes.
Well, if you're anything like the makers of the Poughkeepsie tapes, you'd piece them together into a terrifying found-footage documentary-style slasher flick. The trouble is, even though the film claims the videos are real, they definitely aren't, and the movie is merely masquerading as a true crime.
The story of Cheryl Dempsey and what she became is truly one of the strangest, most disturbing things I've ever come across in the history of serial murder.
But this reportedly didn't stop some audience members from wondering if they were watching actual violence. There was even a rumor that the movie's lack of official distribution at the time was due to a lawsuit from the victims' families. Turns out it was all made up, but the film is pretty disturbing nonetheless.
It was my job to watch and log all 2,400 hours of the Poughkeepsie tapes. In the first month alone, I couldn't sleep for more than an hour or two at night. I still have nightmares about them.
Number 8, As Above, So Below. We're stretching the criteria for this one. While audiences might not have believed that the found footage film As Above, So Below was real, many speculate that it could be based on a true story.
There are over 200 miles of tunnels right underneath our feet.
They're holding the remains of 6 million corpses.
The movie follows a scholar and her friends as they search for the legendary philosopher's stone in the catacombs of Paris. But when you're poking around a dark underground crypt lined with skeletons, something's bound to go wrong.
You must be more careful. His quest was a path to madness.
Fans have suggested that the story could be inspired by actual found footage. In the year 2000, documentarian Francis Friedland presented footage of a man getting lost in the catacombs and dropping his camera before disappearing. Is it fact or just more fiction? Debate continues to this day.
He went inside and nobody has seen him since. So if you want to take this way, go ahead, not with me.
Number 7, Guinea Pig 2, Flower of Flesh and Blood. Some movies are so gruesome and detailed that it's hard to believe what you're watching isn't real. This Japanese horror film follows a killer who abducts and dismembers his hapless female victim. The issue is that the special effects used in the film were so realistic, they had some viewers calling the authorities. It's even rumored that actor Charlie Sheen reported the film to the FBI because he was convinced he just watched a genuine snuff film. But that story may be more urban legend than actual fact. Either way, Guinea Pig 2 might leave you questioning what you see, but just keep reminding yourself that it's only a movie. Number 6, The Fourth Kind. Given the earnest manner in which this sci-fi horror insists that it's a documentary, you gotta forgive people for wondering.
This film is a dramatization of events that occurred October 1st through the 9th of 2000 in the northern Alaskan town of Nome. To better explain the events of the story, the director has included actual archived footage.
In the opening, lead actress Milla Jovovich claims that the film dramatizes events in the life of psychologist Abigail Tyler as she investigated alien abductions in Nome, Alaska.
This footage was acquired from Nome psychologist Dr. Abigail Tyler, who has personally documented over 65 hours of video and audio materials.
These reenactments are intercut with archived footage, which is of course fake. The movie's marketing exploited real missing persons cases in Alaska, disgruntling Alaskans, and leading to legal action against Universal. In the movie's wake, people wondered online whether the film was real, or at least based on a true story. Well, rest assured, it was entirely fictional. Number 5. Wreck. This modern classic of the shaky cam genre poses the question, what would you do if you were quarantined in an apartment building while a disease turned residents into raging zombies? If you answered, film the whole thing while running for my life, then you might fit right in with the cast of this Spanish horror flick. So, who thought it was real? Well, again, we're stretching a bit, but in a sense, the cast.
Un pasito a tu derecha, pequeñín.
¿Sabes qué? Me voy a cambiar de lado, si no te importa, por el pelo.
Wanting authentic performances, the directors leaned into improvisation and filmed long sequences to disorient, tire out, and scare their actors. This created what's been described as a haunted house experience. While the actors of course knew that it wasn't the zombie apocalypse, some of their reactions are very genuine.
Como nos habían anunciado, el agente de sanidad acaba de entrar en el edificio. Estamos viendo unas medidas de seguridad impresionantes. No sabemos nada.
Number 4. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Leatherface has become iconic, but did you know that the original 1974 film was marketed as a true story?
The events of that day were to lead to the discovery of one of the most bizarre crimes in the annals of American history, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
The opening narration tells audiences that the events to come really happened, misleading them into believing that the family of cannibals actually existed and carried out their gruesome crimes. The truth is that Leatherface was loosely based on two real serial killers, Ed Gein and Elmer Wayne Henley.
Yes, they're sure. The man said they could tell if the grave had been dug up. Franklin, don't worry. I saw it myself. He didn't look dug up to me.
But what happened in that house of horrors in Texas was all fictional, despite what the filmmakers want us to believe. Unfortunately, that doesn't stop Leatherface's chainsaw dance from being the stuff of nightmares.
So now look, you boys don't want to go mess around no old house. Well, those things is dangerous. You're liable to get hurt.
Number 3. Cannibal Holocaust. This Italian found footage film was so convincing that director Ruggero Deodato was charged with murder.
This convinced them that I was the only one capable of breaking the evil spell that had been cast over the tribe by their murder of the whites.
The charges were dropped once the supposedly dead cast members were interviewed on TV, and the director explained how he used special effects to achieve the film's realism. But Cannibal Holocaust remained extremely controversial.
Oh, good Lord. It's unbelievable. It's horrible.
Its depictions of mutilation, sexual assault, and animal cruelty led to the film being banned in several countries. It nonetheless gained a cult following and inspired directors like Eli Roth to continue its graphically violent legacy.
I wonder who the real cannibals are.
Number 2. Snuff. This splatter film depicts the murder of an actress and her companions by a biker gang somewhere in South America. The story was inspired by the Manson family murders of 1969. However, producer Alan Shackleton decided to tack on a new ending that supposedly shows the crew of Snuff killing a woman for real. Shackleton marketed it as a genuine snuff film, a movie that shows an actual homicide. This prompted public outrage and even an investigation by New York District Attorney Robert M. Morgenthau. Fortunately, the movie was soon exposed as a hoax. The murdered actress was in fact alive and well. Despite this, rumors have persisted ever since.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. The Blair Witch Project. Some consider it the ultimate found footage film, and the viral tactics used to promote it tried to convince viewers that the film was real.
And it's all because of me that we're here now. Hungry and cold and hunted.
This included a website with fake missing persons posters, police reports, and news footage, making the Blair Witch Project what some consider the first movie ever to primarily use online marketing. And it worked.
Some of the young kids started to disappear, and nobody knew anything about why they were disappearing.
As audiences watched 3 students get lost in the woods looking for the Blair Witch, many people left the theater thinking they'd watched actual, authentic footage and that the film stars were either missing or presumed dead. Makes you wonder, could a film get away with these kinds of tactics today? With internet sleuthing at an all-time high? Likely not.
The search party claims that the stench of death was still thick, and whomever had taken the bodies had done so in a matter of hours. That happened here, at Coffin Rock.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from WatchMojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.